a lot of the different atmospheres or environments in space.
Oh, yeah, and don't forget the bacteria and viruses that can live frozen for centuries, decades, thousands of years are just waiting to come back. And we're not prepared for it. That's the scary part.
Not only that, I don't think our immune systems have built up over the years to be able to withstand them. So it'd be like, that could be something that could wipe out millions of people, potentially.
Yeah, because it would be something new to us. The same way if aliens came down, right? Let's face it, unless they get their shots before they come down, I would think they would pick up our viruses and, it could affect them. So that's another thing I always wonder. If people are being taken aboard these UFO craft, right? And these aliens are experimenting, taking your semen, taking your eggs, taking your saliva, taking your DNA, sticking their fingers down your throat and trying to come out your ear and figured out, hey, it doesn't come out of their ear. But could you imagine, wouldn't they be affected by viruses from us to them?
I think there would be a high probability of it. I've also felt, it's hard to do research on this, but I've tried, is a lot of these people that have been abducted, maybe in a few years following, they've died of some kind of cancer because of, their captors, they've got something from them that maybe give them cancer a few years down the road. Who knows?
Well, I don't know. I was just reading hard-boiled eggs can cause cancer.
Oh, boy. Next week they'll be telling us it cures cancer. I don't know, but I don't eat many hard-boiled eggs, so I'm good there.
Well, here's the thing. They tell you when you're a kid, drink a lot of milk, eat a lot of cheese, eat a lot of dairy products. And then they say now you shouldn't really have any dairy products after you're not a child anymore because it can be bad for you. Then they tell you alcohol is bad for you. Now they say alcohol, actually, if you drink it moderately, it's good for you. Then they say coffee is bad for you. It can cause, all cancer and all this stuff. Now they're saying, hey, actually, coffee is good for you. Tea, they never said anything bad other than you can get kidney stones if you drink too much tea. Then, what is good for you and what is not good for you? Because it seems like everything you eat is either, they tell you it's good for you, then it's not. Like grains are supposedly bad for you. What are you supposed to eat, James? I know, and don't say sugar frosted flakes, please.
No, I won't. But I have did a lot of study and research on this. And tea, yes, you're right. Long-term use, you could get kidney stones. For one thing, milk. I haven't drank milk really that much in my whole life because let's think about milk for an instance. It is liquid animal fat. How could that be healthy for you? The companies that make it, produce it, they'll tell you it's healthy and you got to have it, build bones and all that. That's a misnomer. I'm telling you, it's liquid body fat, liquid animal fat. It can't be healthy for you. And as far as coffee goes, I am telling you, I have talked to 9 out of 10 doctors that have told me that it's not that good for you because that is one thing that sits inside of you in your intestines and your stomach for a while. It just sits there. It's not very healthy for you. Maybe a little in moderations, yes, but a lot of people drink 2-3 cups a day.
I have no idea. Like I said, everything is bad for you. But I will. Yeah. I'm not going to say the brand. But back here a month ago, because one of my bad habits, I like having a little ice cream. I don't drink alcohol. Well, I take that back. I drank a half a glass of beer the other day. But I like a little bit of ice cream when I watch TV late at night or on, answering people's emails. And I forgot to put the ice cream away. So the next morning I go, oh, the ice cream's ruined. I left it out. Well, guess what? It didn't, it was warm, but it was still like ice cream. It didn't melt.
That kind of makes me wonder, does it have a lot of plastic in it or something?
I have no idea what they put in it. So I put it back in the freezer. That night I ate it. It tasted normal, but it sat out for about 7 hours and it didn't thaw out. It didn't melt. That made me really concerned because it said it has dairy products in it, but it had a lot of byproducts in it. So I don't know what the filler is in it, but it's scary. It's like if you go in a fast food restaurant and you ordered a milkshake. When I was a kid, you ordered a milkshake, you got ice cream, you had milk put in a thing, and they turned the machine on and it went, and then you got your, milkshake. Now they take this powder in it, dump this powder in the machine, and add so much water into it, and it mixes it, and that's your milkshake.
Oh, boy. You're making me not want to have any ice cream no more, Gary. Daggone it.
Well, I'm not going to quit, but it concerns me when it doesn't melt.
Yeah. Yeah. That concerns me, too. All the ice cream I've ever had around here, if you leave it out more than an hour or two, it's liquid. If you got ice cream that doesn't melt in 7 hours, you're either living in a very, very cold house or there's something going on there with the ice cream.
No, it wasn't cold, and it was still kind of like chalky. Yeah, how can I say it? It even the ice cream when it was frozen, because it's a little bit different than when it warms up. But it felt like if it is this weird, like paste type of feeling, when you put a spoon in it, it just whatever it was in it just, like a Cool Whip and stuff like that, you can leave it out. That's what the ice cream looked like. It didn't melt. Something is wrong when you go buy ice cream and you leave it out and it doesn't melt.
Yeah, that tells me it's got either silicone or plastic or some kind of chemical in it they try to do that so to get more buck out of it to last longer so they don't lose any in stock or in transit or something. But you know what? At whose expense? The consumer, because that can't be healthy.
Well, haven't the people realized they're being gypped out when you go buy product? Years ago, right, they used to sell ice cream by the half gallon. You don't buy it by the half gallon now. You buy it by so many ounces, which is not even near a half a gallon. But you know what? I remember years ago when I was young, you go out and bought a quart of ice cream or a half a gallon of ice cream. You had a lot of liquid. Now, here's the thing with the new ice cream. You go buy, they're a little less than a half a gallon. And guess what? When it thaws out, you're almost a half a gallon of ice cream, which is not a full gallon of ice cream. You're lucky if you get a cup of liquid out of it after it melts.
Yeah, you're right. It definitely doesn't take up the same volume in one form as the other. You are right about that. I have noticed that.
Yeah, they have figured out how to put a lot of air in it and whip it up and all that stuff. So you're paying a lot of money for a product you're really not getting.
No, yeah, absolutely not. I always say the best ice cream is make it yourself. I remember we used to make it ourselves out on the farm.
No, there used to be an ice cream store by where I grew up. You go in there and buy it by the pint, quart, half gallon, or gallon, and they made it fresh every day. And I tell you what, the stuff nowadays don't even taste like what I remember. I used to go in there. I had this fetish for licorice ice cream, believe it or not. And it was really, really good. It'd turn your whole face black when you're a kid. You'd sit there, eating your ice cream. And then your mom goes, go in the kitchen or the bathroom and go look in the mirror. And you go there and your whole lips are all pure black. Hey, real licorice. I can tell you that.
Yeah, now, I will say we have little mom and pops around here that still home make their ice cream. So we got good ice cream around here in the Midwest here. Got a lot of dairy farms and stuff. But, you go to the stores, you're not going to get that. You're going to get that mass-produced stuff that's probably, like you said, you get maybe a quarter of the volume if it melts, and if it even melts, because obviously what you're saying, they're doing something to it to make it last.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning the brand pop you drink because I don't want to get sued. But I tell you what, some of the ingredients in that pop you drink, it's the same thing morticians use, by the way.
Yeah, and you want to hear a horror story. Somebody I knew, and this is the true story, back in the late 60s, he knew a truck driver. He used the same truck in the tanker for hauling formaldehyde one load 1 week and used the same tanker to haul milk another week. So think about that for a minute.
Well, I look at that, that makes logical sense. A lot of people die. They should have got a discount on embalming because they were already half embalmed. And then, back in the mobile homes that was built in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and maybe even early 90s, the paneling in it had formaldehyde in the paneling. And that would give off gases. And it would gas when it would go from being cold to hot. So you'd be getting all this in your system. So, I mean, you were slowly getting embalmed. So if you lived in one of these mobile homes for like 10, 20 years and you passed on, hey, they didn't even probably need to embalm you. You're already embalmed.
You're halfway there. You know, you speaking of the older homes, a lot of them had the pipes were asbestos wrapped. And we all know what happens with the asbestos. My goodness, you know, all it takes is one of them little hooks that lodge in your lungs, and you get that methyltriosis or whatever it's called, and you get lung disease.
Oh, yeah. It's just a lot of weird things you have to watch out for. But I tell you, again, I was talking to somebody, was it Saturday night? We got in a discussion. And, you know, like when he dies, he wants to have his head frozen. Because he wants his brain to be implanted into a, you know, DNA reconstructed new body. And he's thinking maybe 100 or 200 years from now, that could happen. And I said, you know what? Maybe in another 50 years from now, when our technology advances more. But have you ever taken a steak, and even if you double wrapped it in, you know, the plastic wrap and all that stuff and put it in the freezer, eventually you get freezer burn.
Yep.
And he goes,
yes, you do.
Yeah. He goes, yeah. But he said, these are really deeply frozen. I said, yes, but you know what? If you have your head, regardless how they prepare it, it's gonna, in other words, the odds of coming back at this point is not going to happen. And two, what I've been reading about, if you want to preserve your body, you know, to be maybe come back, they can't do it when you die. In other words, you have to be on life support. You have to be technically alive when they do this process. Otherwise, the odds are, if they ever could bring you back, is zero. A lot of people don't realize that. So in other words, you're still alive and living while they prepare you to put in your final deep freeze to maybe never come back. Scary. Well, and what happens if you get put into one of these chambers with one of these companies, and for some reason they go bankrupt, like 50 years from now or 80 years from now? What are they going to do with you at that point? They can't, whoever in a bankruptcy, they're probably going to turn the power switch. You're going to thaw out, and then they're going to just put you into the ground or cremate you.
Well, here's the other thing. You're not going to come. I don't think you're going to. Your soul, your essence of you is not going to come back. I can't see how that's going to happen. You might have your memories in there, and you're going to be maybe like a robot talking. But how can the essence of the soul of you, the energy of you, come back into your brain 200 years down the road? And besides that, hasn't anybody ever watched Pet Sematary? Hello?
I know they come back evil, but why would you want to? I wouldn't want to come back, because everybody I knew, my life as I know it, would be gone, and everybody I loved would be gone. There would be nobody that I knew when I come back, and then. Even if you were a highly educated person, if they brought you back 200 years from now for an experiment, because I don't think why would they want to bring you back? Because I'll be honest with you, you're going to be just like if we went back to 1800 and bring one of those people back, you wouldn't fit in to society.
Nope.
So you're going to be an outcast right away.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And again, there's that old saying, once dead, leave it dead. You never bring it. Listen, I've never seen anything come back that was dead that was the original self. There's always something. That's bad mojo. You need to leave that stuff alone.
Oh, yeah. That is real bad mojo. Well, anyway, we got the news coming up in a short period of time. And James, do you have any cool news stories you're going to be talking about tonight? Not necessarily the one coming up, but tonight.
Oh, I've got all kind of good stuff. I'm going to be touching on a little bit of some abduction stuff, some UFO stuff, some Ouija stuff. You name it. I've got it all covered. A little bit of everything.
Okay. Well, we'll be back in Well, 2 minutes with James doing the news, and then we'll have Wally Runnels on.